right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today on the journey, whether you are watching us on YouTube or you're joining us on our podcast on Apple Music as well as Spotify. You can definitely join JC Movement on the journey. My name is Joseph Jenkins, and I am a part of JC Movement, and I am leading and hosting our podcast structure today as we're talking about is this relationship a distraction? Now, that's a question that only you can answer. Before we get rolling, one thing that I did want to talk about really quick is that I always get on here and I say thank you for joining JC Movement, but I never really give y'all any background about what JC Movement is for people who may not know. But basically what JC Movement is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that is organized for religious, charitable, education, and scientific purposes. We have right now a couple of education programs that are catered to youth children, especially helping with COVID and this coronavirus situation that's going on. We have a day home program that allows students to be able to monitor their online learning while parents have to go to work. Something else that we also offer is when school is in session, a before and after school program. All kids are fed in every single program. Even adults are fed outside of different fundraising and other opportunities that we try to do for this program. We also have a summer program as well. It's really kind of catered towards youth and to kids. That's really kind of the next generation. So we really want to kind of build them up, especially dealing with our purpose. And then for our religious standpoint and scientific purposes, we have these things that we have going on here, which are the journeys, talking chills, different things of that nature, with delves deep into our understanding about our purpose, about our life, about God, but not being kind of over the top, but kind of make it where it makes sense, where we can kind of relate and kind of understand it in today's society and time. So yeah, that is what it is. If you ever wanted to donate to JC Movement, the only thing you would have to do, you can cash up us at JC Movement 77. That's a cash up. Anything that's ever given a gift is given to our programs to help build up our program so we can continue to grow. An organization, a nonprofit, can't make it without fundraising, without different events, and asking people to give and donate. So if you're watching these videos online or if you're catching on the podcast, please feel free to always donate and give. We greatly appreciate it for everything that we do. All right, so let's get in it for today. We are dealing with, is this relationship a distraction? And I'm gonna be honest with you, this is going to be a heavy topic, a heavy one for me, but I'm kind of excited about it. But I also know too that some people are not going to be able to agree with it, and I'm okay with that. I think one thing about it is we have to name that and understand that we're not always going to see eye to eye. You're not going to agree with me, I'm not going to agree with you, but at the end of the day, let's come together on love and let's try to figure out how we can maneuver and work through it. Because you're going to challenge me, and I'm supposed to be challenging you. In today's topic and today's time in society, well, first off, I took a break from social media last week. Because sometimes you just go through life, things get so cloudy, you got everything happening that you're trying to do, whatever the case is. So I wanted to take a break so I could just connect with life, connect with my family, connect with God, and not be so indulged into social media. So like as soon as I started doing that, like God started like speaking and talking to me, and I'm not, for people who are not that really deep into religion or into relationship with Christ, it wasn't that big deep voice that we think that's God speaking. It's just your inner self, your inner voice of your thought process and different things, and that's how God speaks with me. And it came to where we were talking, where he was sharing with me how I really sometimes challenge with this whole relationship thing. And I'm not naming this as relationships where it's a sexual relationship or man and woman relationship, any type of relationship. This is kind of the boat or the category that I'm referring to. Now, there will be one thing that we'll kind of lead to get more evidence from, but that's just where I'm rolling with. And I wanted to know what he was giving to me about it was the fact that I always find myself in some type of situation with relationships where either someone is interested in me, they're trying to pursue me, and I'm telling them that, or I'm trying to pursue someone when I know I don't need to be, because I'm telling them I'm focused on my purpose. And the fact that I'm focused on my purpose also means that I don't need to be in a relationship right now, because when I'm in a relationship, you kind of need all of my attention. So if we're friends, I can't be that friend who's going to be calling and hitting you up every day, all day, trying to hang out, because I have something that's going over here that I'm trying to focus on and that I'm trying to do. So I'm not going to always be available for you. And I don't want to be a bad friend by not being available for you. If it's a relationship, a romantic relationship, I'm not going to always be so committed to it, because I know personally right now in my life, this is not something that I want to do with anyone right now, because I am so focused on my purpose. That's what I am going after. That's what I'm chasing right now. So with that, God just led me in some more thinking and some thoughts. And one thing that I do is when I get in this is I go to the Bible. And I know some people use the Bible as a literally. They think it's actually literal. But I get a lot of wisdom from the Bible. And that's what I use it for. I've just done some research, and I understand that it helps me with the wisdom to understand how to love, how to be a great human, how to live right, how to love people, how to endure things, how to understand the life of Christ and what he was trying to build and what he was trying to grow. So I use the Bible for wisdom. So with that, anything that I'm teaching or I'm giving you, I'm using it from a wisdom standpoint for you to understand the wisdom nuggets that I got. And hopefully you got some more to it, and I'm not using it so literal. So we'll have some examples and then we'll get rolling. But one thing that I got from it was society in today is very big on when the romantic place of relationships. They think that everyone is supposed to be married. We're supposed to be together. If I like you, you like me. Oh, then you are my wife. I'm your husband. And we're supposed to be together. That's the really image that is out there. Like, I know I've spoke with some young ladies and they've already told me about their wedding, how they had it designed, how they had it put out. And even as a young man, you know, if you're pursuing that, you'll think about, man, I wonder what my wedding day is going to be like. I wonder how it's going to flow, how it's going to go, whatever the case is. And that's just the idea that society has given us. But I don't know if that's something that everyone is so focused on, or everyone is called to the gift or the pact to say, I want to be married. I think sometimes we don't want to be alone. And because of the fact we don't want to be alone, we force ourselves or just say, I'll rock with you, I'll be with you because I don't want to be alone. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to have someone, whether it's friendship or relationship, but I guess my point or focus where I want to hone in on is it purposeful? Are we in this for a purposeful reason, or are we just here to be here? Are you pouring into me, and am I pouring into you? Are we agreeing on a direction of where we want this to go, or are we just doing whatever it is that we're doing, which may be nothing? We're just wasting time. And when you are a person who has goals, who has ambition, who has drive, who has things you want to achieve, accomplish, or do, one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to waste time. You don't want to be a person where you are not going after goals. You're not focusing on anything. You're not achieving anything. And that's sometimes what those relationships, that's what they stem from. That's what comes. So with this idea that everyone in society wants us to be married, something that I dawned on was the fact that the leaders of the Christian movement were not married. They had friendships with individuals, but they were never really focused on I am going to marry so-and-so. Jesus Christ was never married. We don't even really know of any romantic relationships that he was ever in. The person who wrote half of the New Testament, which is Paul, was never married. He even wrote in Corinthians on some things where he was actually saying we shouldn't be married, and also give some advice to people who were married. And that's kind of where we're going to delve in, where we're going to look at today. And I just think that's so interesting. I think it's so interesting, especially how the church or individuals, when we preach or teach to people, you should marry her before, or you should do this, because we don't want people to be caught in immorality of having sex and not being married. But a lot of people have done it for years, and we want you to marry this person. But if we're not purposeful, why am I with this person? Oh, I'm just sexually attracted to this person. I can be sexually attracted to anybody. Just because I'm sexually attracted to you does not mean I need to marry you, especially if we are not agreeing and meeting on having goals, agreeing on the same ideas, headed in the same direction. You can be beautiful. They can be good looking. But if we are not having a purposeful direction, I don't think we should be together. I think we can be cool, we can be friends, and even with our friendships, if I'm with my group of friends and we're not all pushing towards a certain direction, career goals and moves, and sometimes another, maybe we shouldn't be cool, maybe we shouldn't be friends, because of the simple fact nothing is being produced, no fruit is being produced for whatever our relationship status is. A few things that I want to look at is I want to look at Genesis 2, Proverbs 18:22, but I want to give y'all some definitions real quick. The word distraction, the definition of distraction is a thing that prevents someone from giving its full attention to something else. Distraction is a thing that prevents someone from giving their full attention to something else. So if I am trying to talk to you on this live right now, but I get a call from my phone, I'm now distracted by the conversation I should be having here, because I am now giving my attention that is pulling on something else, when I should be giving my attention to you. Another thing that I want us to definition is the word purpose. The definition for purpose is a person's sense of resolve or determination. So we have a lot of people who will say, I want to know my purpose, or what's the purpose for my life, or this is my purpose. The definition for purpose is a person's sense of resolve or determination. So if I'm focused on something, that means I am determined to achieve this. I'm determined to do this. This is my purpose. If I'm going to school, my focus right now is I'm determined to graduate school. That's my purpose. If I am building a business, my purpose right now is building my business. If your purpose is building a family, that's your purpose. You're focused on building your family. But everyone is not focused on all of those same things. And before you connect with someone, you need to find out what is your purpose that you're trying to accomplish and you're trying to do. Let me see if I can actually support or if I can help you. Because I may not be able to support or help you, and I don't think we'll be a good mix because of the simple fact I don't think I'm able to support and help you in that area because I'm not headed down that road in that direction. And I'll end up being a bad friend because we're connecting, but we're not headed in the same direction because we don't have the same determination or purpose. I don't want to distract you. And we can get distracted a lot from a million other things to do. The next one that broke down to me was that word resolve. Resolve means find a solution. So with purpose, your purpose is usually tied to you finding a solution. So for instance, with me, my purpose right now is this organization. It's this nonprofit. It's trying to build it. And I'm a teacher. So I love teaching students. I love teaching kids. Their minds are a sponge. Something else is my purpose is my family who I take care of. I have responsibilities, different things of that nature. So that's my purpose and that's my focus. So a lot of time, my time and my energy goes to my purpose. What I have been sent on earth to do. When you look at the life of Jesus Christ, he had a purpose and he was solely tied to his purpose to accomplish everything he set out to do, which he did. He was here to do something and he accomplished and he did it. But he was tempted. We are all tempted and distracted from our purpose, but we have to hold in on our purpose. So cool. So let's go back to this real quick. Genesis 2, it says, finding a helpmate. I want us to look at this kind of different when we look at that word, because that's one way that a lot of people are going to go into when we say about these relationships, like I want to be married, is that, well, in Genesis 2, when Adam was created, God said it's not good for man to be alone. He took out his rib and he created the woman, who would be his helpmate. I see that's how we look at it in the scripture, but I want to change that perspective for the individual who can say, well, let me look at that differently, as this is a 2020 version of the world, and I just want you to be my friend. What is a helpmate? A helpmate is someone who is pushing me and helping me along the way in life. When Adam was created, Adam had to name the animals. Adam had to fill up the entire planet with humans and other type of things. So it wasn't good for him to do this alone or to be alone. Even for ourselves, it's not good for us to be alone. Sometimes we can go crazy. So it's good to be in relationships with other people, because when I'm in a relationship with other people, they can help me accomplish the goals that I am setting out to do. The question is, the people who I am in relationship with, are you here to help me, but are you here to pull things and time and energy away from me? One thing that irritates me is my time and energy being wasted. My time and energy being pulled away from me when it could be given to my purpose, because I'm always tied into my purpose. So for my helpmate, whether it's a relationship or a friend, you should be helping better who I am. If I'm connected to you, I should be helping better you, because I want you to be tied to your purpose and focus on your purpose. All right? So the other thing about that is when it goes to Proverbs 18:22. And it says, a man that finds a wife finds favor with God. And we look at that and say, man, I want favor with God. But the word favor in this text, which is the research part of it, is support. Support is I have someone by my side who is helping me achieve, supporting me, pushing me, going after what it is I'm trying to accomplish and what I am trying to do. Help me. Help me get to my goals. Help me achieve my purpose. Help me to do what it is I'm setting out to do and accomplish. Something else that dawned on me this week that it really stuck with me is that you have to remember too that you are the prize. So don't limit yourself with other relationships or people who are not trying to treat you or go after the things to get you to your prize, just like you should be helping them to get to their prize. All right? Because when you get distracted, you'll forget that you are the prize and you'll limit yourself and put this person's happiness above and beyond your happiness. Then that puts you in a situation where you're miserable, you're upset and sad because you started focused and being distracted by someone else instead of on your purpose. And then here it is, we're 50 years old and we never accomplished or never did anything because we were so busy focusing on someone else's happiness that we never achieved our happiness and our purpose. All right. So one thing that I want to look at is what the Paul writer wrote, who wrote majority of the New Testament, what he wrote to the church of Corinth. This is 1 Corinthians 7, and we did this snippet a while ago in another video when we were talking about sets. But one thing Paul says in the scripture, he says, he's talking to the people and how he's saying that, I think it's best that you don't get married. I think you should focus your time and your attention on doing the work of God. And he gives breakdowns to why people can't really focus on their purpose or doing the will and the work of God when you're tied into a relationship. And this is during this time period when they were trying to achieve the mission that God sent out for them to do, to go into the world, to help spread the gospel and build other people up. That's the mission that they were trying to do. So to do that mission, I couldn't be tied down into a relationship. I had to be focused on what God told me to do, which was go into the world to help, teach, spread, love, and do all this type of stuff. 2020 looks a little bit different than because we don't really focus on doing that. We go to church every Sunday and we qualify that, which is really not qualification, as that being the work that God called us to do, but it's really not. Anyway, so it says, it's talking about, they wrote to Paul and they were asking about marriage and was it good for people to marry. And Paul says, yeah, it's good for you to marry. Each man should have his own wife. Each woman should have their own husband. The husband should fulfill his marital duties to his wife, and likewise the wife to her husband. And it's talking about, don't hold off your body from your husband into your wife and different things like that. Because during that time period, you were giving your wife, which is kind of different now because now we look for our wives. But during this time period, you already had a wife. But in verse 7, Paul says, I wish that all men were as I am, but each man has his own gift from God. One has the gift, another one has that. Now to the unmarried and to the widows, I say, it is good for them to stay unmarried as I am. But if they cannot control themselves of their sexual desires, then they should be married and then burn with passion. In the Old Testament, if you go look at the laws videos, there's so many laws in the Bible that they had to follow. Being married means you were with one person. Immorality is a sin nature where I was taking something that was not belonging to me. So if I slept with somebody else, that didn't belong to me. I already had a wife. And because I'm sleeping with somebody else, I'm now committing immorality. So if I burn with passion with you, I should probably marry you so I wouldn't be burning for passion with other people. So that's why people got married or are getting married. Paul says, Paul is trying to say that I would like, and this is verse 32, I would like to you to be free from the concern. An unmarried man is concerned about the Lord's affairs. How he can please the Lord. That's his purpose. That's our purpose. Our purpose is tied to how can I please God. But a married man is concerned about the affairs of this world and how he can please his wife. How can I make my wife happy? Not saying that it's anything wrong with being married, but when you are married, your attention now is focused on another individual, another person, instead of focusing on your purpose. So if you're choosing to be married, then understand what comes along with that is I am making sure that my mate, my other person, I'm making sure my friendships are good, but also understand that is going to tug and pull on you achieving your purpose. So if you want to pursue purpose, I will pursue purpose first, and then I will worry about the relationships last or later. Now that could be lonely, and you got to have strength to be able to do that. Something else too that I want us to pay attention, look at it real quick, is a story about Samson. Samson is a story that is found where he was trying to, basically, Samson was kind of the original superhero. He was an ordinary man who received supernatural strength from God with the purpose of bringing hope and freedom to God's people who were being crushed underneath an oppressive government. That's what his role, that was his purpose, that was his assignment, that's how God used him. All right? Samson got distracted by his desires and his flesh, and he met a young lady by the name of Delilah. Delilah was curious about how he got his strength, and he got his strength through his hair. And if Samson cut his hair, then he would lose all of his strength. Well, Delilah set Samson up. She wanted some money, some coins, and she set him up with a group of people who were against Samson. One night when Samson was tuckered out and tired, Delilah cut Samson's hair. And Samson lost his strength. So when that happened, they captured him. And eventually, in the end, Samson prayed one more time because he knew he wasn't supposed to cut his hair. But he gave his secret away to somebody that he was lusting after of, who really didn't have his best interest at heart, who didn't really have his purpose in mind. He got his strength back, and he eventually killed all of the people who he was under because he asked for it one more time. But the big gist from that is understanding when you get distracted from your purpose, you'll never accomplish it, and you'll never get to do what it is you set out to do. So what am I trying to say? As you are in your relationships, whether it's romantic, whether it's friendship, understand and see, where are we going? What is this tied to? Are you here to help me in my purpose, or are you here to distract me? Are you here to throw my focus off? Because each and every one has a purpose for their life. Are you connecting with people who are pushing and motivating you to your purpose? Or are you connecting with somebody who doesn't text you back until they get ready? I'm guilty of it too, because we're not tied to purpose. Are you in relationships where we are not purposefully met? You're just attracted to them. You can be attracted to them all day, but are we purpose driven? Does my goals align with your goals? Can we even align our goals, or are we just going to sit up and argue and debate back and forth? I appreciate you guys joining me today on the journey. I really hope this video, this message, wherever you find it, it helps you get some clarity, type of understanding about your purpose and about relationships, and understanding, are they distractions? Should you let them go? Should you cut them off? Should you not try to entertain them or entangle yourself in them? Understand that your purpose is a part of your life. It's the reason why you're here, and it's important. Because when you have purpose, you find your joy, you find your drive, you find your motivation. It's tied to your purpose. Don't wake up every day just doing life, going to work, coming home, being sad, being miserable. Find your purpose, seek your purpose, connect with relationships that can structure your purpose and fuel it. Wherever you are, repeat this after me, where we say, just in your mind and your spirit, where we say, thank you, God. Come into our hearts. Help us to turn away from all of our wrongs and be all you have called us to be and do. In Jesus' name. I sound like Joe Wilson. But anyway, thank y'all for joining us. And also, please, if you ever want to send us an email for different topics, if you have questions, I love researching stuff. That's just the teacher in me. Please feel free to go to jcmovement.org, submit your question. Follow us, subscribe to us, and always remember that your purpose is so much bigger than you. Hope y'all have a great day. Be great, and always remember it's bigger than us.